What's up, everybody? This is the Four Horsemen Fantasy Football Podcast. This is episode number 24, our Week 11 preview. Today is November 17th, 2016, approximately 10 p.m. Sorry, Van Cleve. With me tonight, I got Joshua Van Cleve. How are you, sir?
Tired. No, I'm good.
A little sleepy. I got Alex Deviney Stoner. What's up, my man?
I'm doing great.
Awesome. And Brent Walker. How are you?
Wonderful.
That is amazing. We are going to try a little bit different format tonight. We're still going to do our random question. We'll do our fantasy stock watch. We'll just talk about our pick'ems real quick. And then we are going to group up our game breakdowns a little bit and just talk about some specific player matchups versus each other. And hopefully it'll spark a little bit more conversation. Should be fun. I think it'll be interesting to try it out. But I'm going to jump right into my random question. And I want to know if you guys could trade lives with any person currently living for one day, who would it be and why?
I mean, I would straight up just want to be a rock star and run around and jump into a pile of people. And just basically, I just want to, for one day, to be treated as a god. And that's all. I don't care who it is. Like, I'm hoping, I want somebody young. I don't want to like feel like decrepit or anything like that. Like, I don't want to be Bono. You know, I want to be somebody that's like really just badass.
Well, you need to answer the question, Alex.
I would say.
I mean, if I say names, you guys aren't gonna know them because you don't listen to the same bands that I do. Like Ali Sykes.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, exactly.
Moving on, Van Cleef.
Yeah. I would either go between Justin Timberlake or Brent.
Ooh.
Woo.
Huh. Okay.
I mean, I mean, I could choose, a billionaire or something like that, but it's for one day. So, like, celebrity fame, that might be fun to do.
I'd want to make sure that I was JT.
Show.
I would want to be JT going home. That's what I want.
Sure. So that I mean, that could be part of your day.
Yeah, because I want that end of the day situation with his wife. So, just saying.
Oh, Alex.
I'm just laying it out, guys. I mean, come on.
Hey, Brent, how about you? Anybody you would like to be?
I'd like to be Drew Brees right now and not turn the ball over.
You know what? I would like you to be Drew Brees right now and not turn the ball over. So
there it goes.
It's a bad answer, but I guess I'll have to accept it. So let's get into our fantasy stock watch. Looks like the stock's up on Jared Goff finally. Most of us wondered what took so long, but week 11, we will finally see what the number one overall player in this year's draft looks like. Many Todd Gurley owners hope that this helps his stock as well. I'm curious to see if you guys think that it will.
No.
I mean, to be honest with you, the running, it's been backward play already. But it's really been what's really been hurting Todd Gurley is the offensive line. The offensive line has been inconsistent, and it just hasn't been able to pass protect or run protect. And the coaching staff is not creating great schemes for Todd Gurley to be able to run or have block for the offensive line to block for opening running lanes or anything like that. So they're not being creative, and I don't think it's going to change anything.
Yeah. Jeff Fisher's still going to suck, so
yeah.
Still a terrible coach.
He's only got 6 winning seasons. Is that crazy to you? Like, the guy's been coaching for, 20 years? Six.
He's very mediocre. That's just how he is. That's who he is as a coach.
50-50.
50-50.
Exactly. Sweet mustache, terrible coach. Next player stock watch is the stock is up on Martellus Bennett. Gronk's looking like he's going to miss at least a week with a punctured lung. This makes Bennett a must start for week 11 in some people's eyes. Is that how you guys view it?
Wait, didn't Ian Rappaport say he was missing a lung? Lung got ripped out.
A bear attacked him on the field, took his lung out. Yeah, I mean, honestly, I don't see how you could just – based on the first couple games of the season, I don't know how you can't look at Bennett as a must start. I think he's top 3, honestly.
He should be. I mean, they're playing the 49ers.
Yeah.
They should annihilate them. Brent, where would you put Bennett at? Would you put him top 3 this week? Not talking the rest of the
Easily,
season,
yeah, probably top 3 this week.
but would you start anybody over him?
Jordan Reed, I think you still have to put him up there, but it'd be hard to choose someone. I mean, even Greg Olson has a great matchup against New Orleans, but
Maybe Delaney Walker.
yeah, Delaney Walker.
You can make a case.
I mean, he's up there in the top 5, but top 3, I'd put him in the top 3 if Gronk is out.
Makes sense. Yeah, it could be a really big week for him. I think that's a good DK play. And if you got him on your bench, if you held on to him, which I think most people probably did, because he hasn't been terrible even with Gronk in there. So with Gronk out, he should eat. Next player news: stock is down on Kristen Michael. After a fast start, Michael fell behind rookie CJ Procise, especially last week. With the former starter Thomas Rawls looking to come back this week, Michael was released, and then looks like he got picked up by Green Bay. Has already started practicing with them, but definitely stock's down on him. It's kind of been going down that way. Could you see it rebounding though? Could he have a chance with Green Bay, or is that Stark's gig?
I don't see him catching on.
It's week 11.
I think that, by the time that he, learns everything and does what he needs to do to be successful, I think Starks is going to be back, and it's going to be Starks.
And they trust Starks a lot too. And he took a lot, like Starks took a lot of touches away from Eddie Lacy when Eddie Lacy was in there. So they do trust Starks quite a bit.
And it's hard to trust Christine Michael, especially he's been cut before because he wasn't learning the system well.
Yeah.
And, then they cut him again. So I don't see him catching on, and I think it's going to be Stark's job. Christine Michael's just going to be a backup.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's I should have traded him when his stock was high to Alex. I missed my window of opportunity closed quickly though.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you got him now at this point, are you dropping him, or do you hold on to him and at least see if he can, like, give him 2 weeks maybe?
I personally have been dropping him in every league.
Have you?
Even before he signed with Green Bay, and now that he did sign with Green Bay, I'm still confident in my decision to drop him.
What are you dropping him for? Whatever.
Like Rob Kelly has been out there in a lot of leagues, so I've been picking him up. Just the next best running back. Thomas Rawls even. Like, I dropped Kristen Michael and got Thomas Rawls. So,
well, that's if Thomas Rawls is on the waiver wire. I think that's a smart pickup if you're dropping Michael and picking him up.
They did name Procise as being the starter
officially. Yeah. Did they say anything else about Rawls though? Like, all signs point to him playing.
Him playing. I just don't think I think they're going to probably ease him back in there. I don't think he's going to get tons of snaps.
I feel like I have dropped so many players the week before they blow up. Like, I'm just starting to get frustrated at this point. Like Thomas Rawls, Terrell Pryor, then Ty Montgomery. Like, I just keep dropping these guys because they aren't producing, and then the week, like that week, they go huge. It's just.
Yeah, if you got a bench spot, that's why just keep holding on to them until you need it. If you need it, you can't really regret those decisions, though. It's not like they're doing anything for you. If you need that spot, don't hesitate to drop them. I don't think any of those guys that you named were I would call you stupid for dropping.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Just the people on the other end are grateful for it.
Yeah.
I mean, Pryor's been starting for me every week since Alex dropped him, so.
Now it looks like Procise. You're getting like all of Alex's droppings.
Oh, okay.
I
was kind of surprised that he dropped Procise.
Yeah, actually,
that was the one that I was a little confused about.
I was thought about picking him up too.
Well, the thing is that I had him, and then he was hurt, and then I needed the space because I was having so many problems with wide receiver. And then, I picked him up. I had him on my bench for 1 week because I thought that I was going to put him in because I had so many buys. And then he puts up 2 points when he was going to be featured more. And I was like, well, okay, I'm done then. And then the next week he's the starter. Like, fine.
Well, and I didn't really like what I'd seen out of him until I saw him start catching passes.
Yeah.
The dude's talented. I hate to say it because I don't really care for him much. I don't really care for Notre Dame players, but
Yeah.
he looked pretty good last week, so
Yeah.
he should get another chance. All right, let's move it on. Follow us, guys, on Twitter if you haven't already, which you haven't because I haven't had a new follower in 2 weeks, so I know you're not doing it. But it is the number 4 Horsemen Pod. You can also send us emails. Number 4 horsemanpod@gmail.com. An email I did get, and I want to just pose a question to you guys real quick and read it. We got it from a loyal listener, Dustin Bauer. Appreciate you, sir. You say that you listen all the time, so we really do. Other than Van Cleve, Brent, Alex, and myself, I think there's probably like 4 or 5 other listeners out there, and we appreciate you guys right now. So building this up, I make my wife listen, but I don't know if that really counts. So what Dustin wants to know, though, is Russell Wilson back? Second part of the question, he has Marcus Mariota, who has been on fire lately, and wants to know if he should stick with Mariota or if it's safe to roll out Russell Wilson.
I think that like this week, you've got Mariota on a good matchup, and Russell Wilson doesn't have the greatest matchup against the Eagles. So I would continue to go with Mariota. Now, is Russell Wilson back? Could be. I mean, he seems like he's kind of been able to move around a little bit more and hit some of the players. Another thing is that they're starting to get healthy at the right time. So, I mean, it could be, toward the end here, right as you're pushing for the playoffs, it could be
right.
a nice, bonus. You got Jimmy Graham that's kind of come out. You've got CJ Prosise that we were just talking about, and maybe even Russell Wilson can kind of help some of those, help push you into the playoffs.
Mm-hmm. So you would start Mariota this week, though?
Yeah, I would start. Yeah, I would
Against
start
Indy.
Mariota.
I would kind of look. Sorry,
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I was just going to say I would kind of just matchup dependent with
Sure.
that. I do think this is typical of the Seahawks that you see them starting to get their stride, especially later in the season. They're starting to make progressions, and you see them finding their way, finding like their identity, and everything starting to work out for them. And this is just, I think, prototypical of the Seahawks. So I can see Russell Wilson's stock, especially since he's feeling a lot healthier, his stock rising on this. So if he's starting to get multiple games where he's burning the defense and stuff, I would maybe start looking at starting him full time. But as of right now, I'd probably play the matchups.
Yeah, I mean, Brent,
very matchup dependent. I think Mariota is more matchup dependent, but Russell Wilson, he can still perform at a high level against some tough teams, I think, because they have a way better defense in general. So he can keep them in games that way. But as far as like the rest of season is concerned, right now you have to stay hot in the flames with Marcus Mariota. He's the number 1 fantasy quarterback since week 5, which I think is awesome. Like for their running game, he's running the ball, he's passing the ball. They're doing great on offense. I think the last like 6 or 7 weeks, they've put up 28 points or more in those games.
Yeah.
Which is, and with that offense and that running game, I mean, stay in the flames with him.
I hope that they don't do it this week, but for all the fantasy owners out there, I'd be okay with that. I have a bad feeling DeMarco Murray is just going to run all over the Colts.
But I hope so.
But
200 yards.
Yeah. So Dustin, appreciate the question. Roll up Mariota this week, but keep playing those matchups, buddy. Let's talk real quick about our pick'ems. So last week was pretty uneventful. I think Van Cleve did the worst out of the bunch last week. So Alex, congratulations.
Here I come.
You weren't
Here
the worst.
I come.
But for the year, Brent is at 85 correct picks. I am at 83, still 2 behind. Van Cleve, you're at 78, so you fell a little bit behind me now, 5 games. Then Alex, 67.
Here I come.
Don't call it comeback.
It's
happening.
Ready.
But so let's get into our Week 11 game talks. The first set of games I want to talk about. We chose 4 games. We're going to kind of feature some players from those games that we think are comparable. You might have a start-sit question about it, but just spark a little conversation. We're going to talk the Cardinals at Vikings, the Bills at Bengals, the Bears at Giants, and the Buccaneers at Kansas City. First question I have for you guys. Larry Fitzgerald versus Stefan Diggs. Who you got there?
That's a tough one. Honestly, I think that, Stefan Diggs is the only thing there. The only thing. And I don't see any reason to say that it's going to change. So, and that's a good thing and a bad thing. Like, I don't know if you want to roll with Stefan Diggs the whole time, simply because I don't think that Bradford's that good. Even though you've got issues with Palmer, still that team is just way better on offense than Minnesota. I would tend to lean more toward Fitz.
I don't know. I think I'd go the other way with Diggs. Fitzgerald's only had one game over 100 yards, and that was this last week. He's been more consistent, I would say that, but there's also a lot more mouths to feed in Arizona, as whereas Stefan is basically the featured wide receiver. You have some other role players there that kind of get theirs, but I think Stefan Diggs is a main target that Bradford likes to go to, and he's great at getting targets. I mean, if you look at the last 3 weeks, 13, 14, 15 targets a game, I mean, that's huge. That's what you like to see, in especially number one wide receivers. So I think, especially in PPR, I think you can go with Diggs just on that reason.
The only problem I have with that is, Minnesota got in their new offensive coordinator, started throwing these little short passes to Stefan Diggs. He's been the PPR monster that's gone on for 2 weeks now. Maybe that carriage is going to turn into a pumpkin. If any team's going to figure out, the Cardinals could do that. And if they want to game plan to shut down somebody and they shut down Stefan Diggs, I think it's going to be a little bit harder for them to shut down Larry Fitzgerald when you got Michael Floyd on the other side.
Oh, man.
Opening up, throw the ball deep, take the top off the defense. Let Larry Fitzgerald eat.
Oh, I forgot about that little nugget that you just dropped on me.
I like to call it the Floyd factor. And
man.
it's going to reign supreme this week.
It trumps all arguments.
I win.
Michael Floyd.
Next question. That one was from the same game. I want to stay with the same team on this one. With Alshon Jeffrey just, getting suspended for 4 games. I don't really know what he did, but whatever he did, he can't do. Cam Meredith versus Eddie Royal.
If you are starting either one of these guys, and I am, so you're in trouble, basically. I don't, Meredith had a good run with Hoyer, but you don't want these guys on your team.
Cutler
sucks. Really don't. Bad. It is so bad. And Chicago is just a garbage fire this year. I mean, honestly, I'd almost lean toward, if you had to pick, I'd lean toward Royal simply because at least Cutler has shown that he can go to Royal before. Whereas, the biggest problem with Meredith is that we haven't really seen anything connection between him and Cutler. I mean, the only reason he scored any points was on a jump ball in the end zone last week.
Yeah.
So
it was trash.
Yeah.
And keep in mind also that Marquise Wilson is coming back off the list now. He should probably be back in another week or two. And out of all 3 of those guys, I don't prefer any of them over what's his name? Tight end, Kyle Miller.
Oh,
Zach Miller.
Zach Miller. That's it.
You said so Kyle Miller, and then I was like, no, Tyler. No, wait, what? Hold on.
But yeah, I think Zach Miller is actually going to be the beneficiary of Alshon's suspension. I think more targets go his way, especially in the red zone.
I like it. Good advice there, Brent. Let's move on to my next question. Jerick McKinnon or Rashad Jennings? Realistically, you don't really want to be starting either of those guys, but if you're backed into a corner,
Rashad Jennings. I think Rashad Jennings, just because based on volume, really. McKinnon's sharing time with Asiata, and if you look at his carries, they've been going down in carries, but Rashad Jennings, I think he's getting the volume, so I think you have to go with Rashad Jennings if you're desperate just at least on that point alone.
And at least New York Giants have somewhat of an offensive line.
Sure.
Minnesota has zero offensive line.
Yep.
Like all their running backs combined for like an average of 1 or 2 yards a carry. It's
Yeah,
terrible in Minnesota.
It is a garbage fire. If it was not for their defense, they would be.
Their defense has sucked the last 2 or 3 weeks, though. It's been absolutely terrible.
Still, they're not the Cleveland Browns.
No, but you had a team that in the beginning half of the season was by far the best defense in the league, and they've just tanked. And I don't know if that's just because they can't move the ball. I mean, I don't know if that's because they're basically 3 and out and just can't get anything going. But even the defense doesn't look great lately.
Yeah, I don't think. What are you gonna say, Brent?
Just a quick question. Like, let's say you're out of the playoffs because you have both of these guys on your team. You're having to choose whether or not to start one of these guys week in and week out. So you're out of the playoffs more than likely if you're having to start these guys.
Right.
Which one are you? Which one do you prefer dynasty wise going forward? If you have to maybe have these guys on your team as a potential keeper next year.
Rashad Jennings has been getting those AARP mailers. He's looking at it. He's about ready to call it quits.
Jerick McKinnon is going to be a wonderful backup to the next running back that Minnesota drafts.
Sure. I don't like McKinnon. Like there was so much good talk about him coming into this year, but God, when it came time for him to put it out, he just didn't do it. And their line's terrible. It is. It's bad.
The thing about him though is that he's like that. They just talk about how he's just so talented. He's so skilled. He's such a great athlete. Those guys don't always transition well because they aren't necessarily good at finding their spots and their holes and things like that. Where you don't have to run a 4-3 if you know how to be patient, wait for your gaps to become available. I think he's just so fast that he's just running into things, and there's something about him that it just doesn't seem right, and he just kind of seems like a perennial backup.
Yeah, I can't disagree with that. If I have to start somebody, this week, I'm starting Rashad Jennings because, like Brent said, at least they have something that resembles a line. Cameron Brate or Kyle Rudolph?
Love Cameron Brate. I think he's really evolving in that offense in Tampa Bay as the second option to go to.
There was a lot of preseason hype on him, and it's starting to come to fruition, which is awesome to see. Kyle Rudolph has been, I don't know, kind of tailing off a little bit. He started hot, but.
Well, again, you're talking about a Minnesota offense that's just not very good.
Yeah.
Tampa Bay is a much better offensive team.
Cameron Brate up, Kyle Rudolph down.
It does seem Sam Bradford looks for Kyle Rudolph in the end zone, though. So, if you're looking for in a standard league, if you're looking for a guy to score a touchdown each week, Kyle Rudolph, he's up there on the list.
Yeah, Kyle Rudolph's floor is probably about equal to Cameron Brate's, though. And Cameron Brate's ceiling, I feel like is so much higher than Kyle Rudolph. So.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think that Brate can, get a crap touchdown too. I think that he's just as likely to get one of those. But we saw last week he had 2.
Well, they use him in the passing game. I feel
like. Yeah. Well, that offense is just more explosive than the Vikings are, and so that's why you have that ceiling with Brate versus Rudolph, where I think Rudolph is a good check down or a dump off option from Bradford if he's getting pressure or anything like that. But I think just like I said, just that offense is a lot more explosive.
All right. My next question is not just because I'm facing this dilemma this week. I call it a dilemma. Carson Palmer versus Tyrod Taylor. Who you got?
I never in a million years would have thought that this would be an actual.
It's weird with this one because Carson Palmer throws a ton of yardage. He gets yardage, and he's got weapons around him that can produce touchdowns. He's got a running game. He's got an offensive line, but he's, I guess, just turnover prone.
Yeah.
And then you have Tyrod, who has a great floor that doesn't turn the ball over. He's like he's a better than a game manager, but not that elite option. But he gives you that floor each week without turning the ball over. So
I
don't know.
He can run.
You saw what Andy Dalton was able to do against the Giants, the Bengals. I think you go with Tyrod Taylor here just because he's got that dual threat of running it or passing it. And I think it's sad to say, but I think Palmer's hit where he's old and it's finally dropped off. He's dropped off because he's got all the talent around him. He's got, great team. And I just think that he's breaking down. I think he's hit that cliff. Yep.
He's old. I'd start Tyrod Taylor. And I did. Doug Martin versus Jordan Howard.
I'm ride or die Jordan Howard. He's my favorite rookie. He's my favorite rookie. I wanted him on the Eagles so bad. I'm ride or die.
I would, but say Jordan Howard, but there's so many question marks surrounding him with injury right now that I'm just
Fox.
He's a dirty liar. Ian Rappaport's a punk, and I'm going to tell you right now,
he's a dirty pirate hooker.
He is. He practiced in full on Wednesday. If he was even remotely injured, he would have been at least limited on Wednesday's practice. But he participated in full. And the Wednesday practice is the one that's the easiest to just throw away and say, okay, well, we'll see. If he is in a Wednesday practice fully, he's good to go.
Dude, yeah, I'm rolling out Jordan Howard this week. I'm not. The only thing that makes me nervous is John Fox. Like literally, the dude. I don't know if he has another bad fumble. Like it could go either way. If Jordan Howard starts off the game great, I think they're gonna roll him the whole game. Yeah. But if he comes out and fumbles again, he could be done.
Ingram just died.
No.
Wow. Yeah, I think he's okay. He's alive. Oh, he's not getting up.
This game's frustrating me.
I'm wondering if Doug Martin can get back to his full strength and back to where he was running last year, but I don't think we've seen that. But I think it's also been due to injury.
Yeah, he's not fully healthy yet. But
I will say that in defense of him, if he can come back fully healthy, that line has showed that they can open up plenty of holes for anybody that wants to run in that offense. So,
absolutely.
He probably has
Doug Martin.
Except for Doug Martin, the muscle hamster. I think that
the dude's got great nicknames. He should be awesome. I loved him for a long time, and I had to break up with him.
Yeah, you did.
It's Splitsville. I'm not going back. I start Jordan Howard there. Like the only thing is, Tampa Bay needs Doug Martin.
Yeah,
they don't want to be putting Peyton Barber out there now. Like they are so injured.
Yeah, they are.
But if they lose Doug Martin, I don't know.
I'm hoping Peyton Barber.
Yeah, I don't know. Pass. Let's move on to our next group of games, though. This slate's going to be the Steelers at Browns, Ravens at Cowboys, Jaguars at Lions, Titans at Colts. Do you take the worst quarterback in the NFL, not named Brock, Blake Bortles, versus Matt Stafford?
Absolutely not. I mean, the fact is that, I think that, was it just me that was high on Blake Bortles? Was everybody else like
it was just you, dude?
Okay, but I was not alone in general.
No,
and so I think that there was a lot of hype of him coming in. Honestly, I kind of had him on the same pedestal that I was putting Derek Carr on, and what I've seen is Derek Carr has elevated his team, and I think that what you're seeing now is what you guys talked about is that he had so much garbage time, like all that was garbage time. Well, they're slightly better this year, so that there isn't quite as much garbage time. So he's just garbage all the time. I think that's the only real way of saying is that he can't get it going. He can't get anything to anybody, and he has so many weapons. And I could sit here and blame the running game. I could blame the offensive line. But fact of the matter is he makes poor decisions.
He's just bad.
terrible. He's so bad. I told you about this, Alex, but there was a video of him on the sideline a couple weeks ago where he's just trying to keep warm and keep throwing the ball on the sideline, and he goes to wind up and throw the ball, and the ball slips out of his hands before he could even throw it. Like that's what he does on the field also.
Yeah,
Like, he's just that bad.
Yeah.
It's confusing, honestly. I don't think that. There's still part of me that's like, okay, he can't be that bad, but the problem is like it's hard to keep making that argument when everybody around him is good.
Yeah.
It's kind of like with in Arizona with Carson Palmer. At some point, you have to say, okay, the problem is Carson Palmer, and not it's not everybody else. We already know it's not everybody else.
I think you take Matthew Stafford just because of the matchups. And Matthew Stafford's been able to – he's been taking that team himself and controlling that offense. One thing that Blake Bortles does have going for him is it's going to be a shootout because Matthew Stafford will score. So Blake Bortles can't get that garbage time, and also he's going against one of the middle-of-the-pack or worst of the league pass defenses.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the Lions are getting healthier on the defensive side. I think this could be a good spot for their defense because I just think Blake Bortles is trash. He's garbage to me. Take Matt Stafford easy. Speaking of garbage, Ravens backfield versus Jaguars backfield. Do you throw up in your mouth?
Pass. Move on.
Next question. Delaney Walker versus Eric Ebron versus Jason Witten. That one's a little bit better. Some tight ends.
You just got to love Delaney Walker's matchup, especially this week against the Colts. Colts are terrible against the tight end, but you got to like what you're seeing from the Cowboys offense. Jason Witten is getting a lot more targets, and even Ebron, though, I think he's increased his target share in that offense as well, right behind Golden Tate.
Yeah,
so.
yeah.
You like to see what that's kind of Witten at his age, but I think Dak really wants to save his job because he knows Witten and Romo are pretty tight together. So
was that? Didn't we talk about that theory last week, or were we just talking about that? That was you that said that, wasn't it, Van Cleef?
That was me. Yeah.
Was that you, Brent? That's genius. Because I think it's partially true, and if it's true, then Dak is a genius too, because that's very, very intelligent.
Well, yeah, Romo conceded this week.
Romo sucks.
Romo does suck.
If I have to pick any of those three, though, I think it's Delaney Walker, not close.
Yeah. I think it goes. I honestly think it goes Delaney Walker, Witten, then Ebron. But Ebron and Witten are very close together.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I agree.
I think that Ebron's upside might be a little bit higher than Witten's.
Yeah,
but Witten's floor is probably a little bit higher than Ebron's.
Yes. Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah.
Okay. Talk about some superstars here. Des Bryant versus Allen Robinson. I guess Allen Robinson was supposed to be a superstar. Looked pretty good last week. Des Bryant looked to be more, involved. Looked pretty good. Who would you start?
I just have a crush on Allen Robinson, and it's probably because he played at Penn State, but I don't know. It seems like Des is going to be kind of a hit or miss guy. I don't know. There's just something about Des that I've never fully trusted, and I don't know. I can't even really pinpoint what my problem is, other than the fact that he's a Cowboy. I mean, that's obvious, but Des seems to be the guy that they're trying to force the ball to, and I think that Dak really wants to go to Cole Beasley.
That is exactly what I was going to say, because Des Bryant never seems to be in the game plan unless they force the ball to him. And when they force the ball to him, that's when he performs his best. That's when he gets his fantasy points. They're in the red zone. They force the ball to him. He usually gets a couple targets a game in the red zone, and he usually produces with that. But with Allen Robinson, you're just hoping for that same kind of upside, but he's such a target monster that – the problem is you have Blake Bortles throwing the ball.
Yeah. I mean, half the games that Bryant's played this year, he's had over 100 yards. So pretty good odds that they'll try to get him the ball and feed him the ball. And we now know that Dak can get him the ball and get him effectively in the game. So I lean more towards Dez. I do like Robinson though a lot, but it's just like you just said, Blake Bortles.
Yeah,
Blake
I think that's the factor right there, and I'm okay with that. I take Dez Bryant. I want to stick with elite players though, and I want to talk a couple really good matchups, and then just somebody that's been eating every bowl of invisible cereal that he can get his hands on.
Can't stand that shit.
Le'Veon Bell versus DeMarco Murray versus Ezekiel Elliott.
I think we know Alex's pick.
DeMarco Murray.
No, I was going to say Ezekiel Elliott. He loves some Ezekiel Elliott.
He loves
the trio of Ezekiel, Dak, and Dez.
Like, there's no question that you're starting all three of these guys.
Right.
You cannot.
It's just I'm kind of curious
who
you guys. Who would you want to center your team around though this week? Like, if you had to pick one of those guys, so maybe like a DK type question.
I would lean more towards Bell or Murray.
Yeah, I started DeMarco Murray.
Yeah, because
no,
of course you did.
Well, Ravens have one of the best run defenses there is. I know that it's Dallas's offensive line is ridiculous, but I think with the matchup, I think DeMarco Murray. You go with DeMarco Murray, then Bell, then Ezekiel. I think in that order. But you gotta love what's happening behind that line. It's not all Ezekiel. That's more the line.
That's what
with his combination of his talent though, because he does have talent. I think
he's definitely talented.
That's what, because you haven't seen another running back do this except for Adrian Pearson and Eric Dickerson. So I mean, he's got a great line which helps out a lot, but he does have that talent to help get past and get some yak.
It's kind of where opportunity meets talent too. With that,
mm-hmm.
You see when Alfred Morris comes in and he plows away to 3 yards a carry, and then Ezekiel Elliott comes in and he's actually getting the 5-6 yards a carry. So,
yeah, Zeke has been really fun to watch this year. He's just been running over dudes, but I feel like this could be a big Le'Veon Bell game. They're playing Cleveland. The wind has been really heavy, so
I think it's a trap game.
You do for the Steelers?
Everything with the Cleveland is a trap game, though.
We talked about that last night.
Yeah, we talked about this last night. Like, the fact is that at some point in time, somebody has to lose to Cleveland, and it's gone on so long at this point. Now everything is a trap game, and
everybody's gonna say "told you so."
Well, but that's the thing is, and I don't think that you're wrong, Van Cleve, because it's a divisional game, and that's where these things usually kind of come out. And
the Steelers have not been playing very well.
No, they have not. And here's the thing that I'm not wishing this or anything like that, but an injury to Ben Roethlisberger again is not out of the question.
Don't you dare.
I'm just saying that this is exactly how things played out last year, and I don't know. He rushes back from things. I mean, that's great. He's a competitor. I love that. It worries me that he's going to get hurt again. And this is one of those games where a divisional game and against a team that's not good, I think that those kind of things have a kind of a nasty combination, because you've got guys around out there that maybe don't have the right skills, but go at somebody's knees, things like that. I don't know, but I can see it being a trap game.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm taking Bell, but you guys take whoever you want.
I'm going to take DeMarco Murray.
Of course you are.
I really like this game for Le'Veon Bell, actually, just because Ben Roethlisberger is on the road.
Yeah.
He doesn't play well on the road, but his best success has actually come against the Browns in his career. So, but I actually think this is going to be a big Le'Veon Bell game. I think they try and lean on him a little more in the running game. So,
yep.
I'm going to go to DeMarco Murray.
Van Cleve, tell me which one of those three guys. Just say the name.
DeMarco Murray.
All right. Next group of games. Dolphins at Rams, Patriots at 49ers, Eagles at Seahawks, Packers at Redskins, and Texans at Raiders. Jared Goff we talked about earlier as moving, his stock moving up. Would you start Jared Goff over any other quarterback in this universe?
You already know the answer to that question.
Yes.
There is one quarterback that I will start any other quarterback, and that is Brock Osweiler. If you cannot throw 100 yards in a game, you do not deserve to be on the field. You can accidentally throw 100 yards in the NFL. I don't understand how you can get 99 yards passing.
And they won.
And
the
they
game.
won. They won, and he was in all 4 quarters. Like,
Yeah.
I will take Jared Goff. I will take Jared Goff's left side of his body over the worst quarterback in the league by a mile in Brock Osweiler. One of the worst quarterbacks I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, he's trash. I'm good with starting Jared Goff over him.
It's got to be one of the worst contracts I've ever heard of as well. So,
is there anybody else though?
I think Alex nailed it. Like, there's no one else other than that one.
I mean,
Okay.
yeah.
I mean, I'd rather start Cody Kessler. I'd rather start Colin Kaepernick.
Tannehill.
Yeah, Tannehill.
With how their offensive line is getting healthy. Yeah. They actually have a run game to back that up.
Sam Bradford.
What about Blake Bortles? I mean, you guys hate him more than I hate him.
I'd start Blake Bortles because
Bortles.
you're guaranteed garbage time at the very least.
I'd definitely start Blake Bortles over Osweiler.
All right, that's kind of what I was looking for. This one, would you guys start LeGarrette Blount or Jay Ajayi over Todd Gurley at this point?
I would start Jay
Especially this
Ajayi.
week. How about Blount?
Rams? Well, see, the Rams defense is actually pretty decent, though.
This seems like blasphemy. I can't believe we're having this conversation.
LeGarrette Blount has been a touchdown scoring machine.
Yeah.
They're playing the 49ers, who have been trash.
Garbage.
I start Blount over Gurley.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I mean, until honestly, I know that you drafted him as, maybe even number 1 overall. I think you've got to sit him until something happens. I mean, he's just not. He hasn't gone over 100 yards, I don't believe. He's had a couple of games where he's had, like 2 touchdowns, which has saved, a poor performance. That team just is not firing on all cylinders. And if you have something else, if you have, heck, I don't know. I was about to say Ryan Matthews, but that was way too much. That was going overboard. I apologize, everyone.
So I have Gurley in one league right now, and I'm struggling with who I should start. So I'll pose this question to you.
Okay.
Would you start Gurley or Rob Kelly?
Gurley.
Rob Kelly.
Against the Packers?
Right. Well, man, I don't know. Because I think
Packers are overrated.
You guys are crazy.
Packers actually, their run defense is not as stout as it was at the beginning of the season.
Yeah.
It might not be, but their pass defense has been so bad. Like, why would you not throw all over them? You got Kirk Cousins, the gunslinger, out there just chucking balls.
They're going to throw it all over there. But
no, Rob Kelly's trash.
But,
wow. Calm it down. Calm it down.
But Miami's defense, their front 7 is nothing to joke about either, though. They're getting pretty strong.
Miami's been playing good defense.
Yeah, they're on a 4-game win streak right now. I'd still say Todd Gurley. I think I'd still start Todd Gurley.
What about Gurley or Doug Martin?
Probably Doug Martin.
Gurley. Gurley is going to have a game here soon.
Like,
I know.
It's because it's going to happen. But it's the same way I feel about Jarvis Landry. Like,
Romine, this is the problem though, is that and I understand where you're coming from. I would have a really hard time benching him, but at a certain point when it's like he's supposed to be, just becomes he's not.
I know. I don't think he's not. I still think he is.
Well, he's got great talent. We're not disputing that. It's his team around him. It's his coaching.
Okay,
that's hindering him.
We've got 2 or 3 weeks left for most people's regular season. If you haven't seen it, are you starting him in the playoffs? If your team, I mean, honestly, your team probably has a rough go if you had him as a draft pick. Do you start him in the playoffs if he continues this trend?
Well, in this league, I'm one game out of the playoffs, so I have to make these decisions so that I can get into the playoffs.
Yeah.
Like I have a real chance to get in the playoffs, but I have to start Gurley or one of these other guys.
I think you're overthinking it. I think you start Gurley.
I would actually try seeing what he does next couple of weeks with Jared Goff to see if anything changes. If they change the scheme up because it's a rookie quarterback, if they try doing something, get Gurley more involved.
But you're right. But I don't have that option. In a couple of weeks, I might be completely out of the playoffs.
That's why you need to start Gurley and make the playoffs.
but you know that Gurley's going to get the volume.
How is he going to get it?
But you know Gurley's going to get the volume there. He's the only one there. So you know that you have that as you can.
I think a major problem, though, with that team right now is even by putting in Jared Goff, your number one target is still Kenny Britt. Nobody's scared by Kenny Britt. Nobody's scared of Kenny.
Kenny Britt's underrated.
Okay, he might be underrated, but he's not scary. Nobody's scared of him, so they stack the box. And, sure, fine, let Kenny Britt have 100 yards. But as long as we keep Gurley under 65, then we're good.
Well, it's not even with stacking the box. It's the offensive line can't block.
Yeah.
And so, he can't get any room to run or do anything. He's not getting any kind of holes to where he can do something himself. And it's sad.
This conversation has gone on too long. Todd Gurley is better than Rob Kelly.
Is he better?
Yes.
Is
he going to do better this week? Yes.
All right. Okay. Right here. I'm going to put it into ours right now.
Going to do it.
Put it on the board.
I'm putting it on the board.
Who was the other player that we talked about, Brent, that Alex said he'd start over him?
I said Doug Martin.
I said I was kind of I don't know.
I mean, I
don't know his injury issues.
I mean, it's not necessarily for this week, but I also have Devontae Booker, Thomas Rawls, and Ty Montgomery, who's running back eligible. So,
and don't start him. Start Todd Gurley. Easy. Moving on.
I don't think it's easy at all.
It is. Doug Baldwin or Julian Edelman?
Doug Baldwin.
Julian Edelman just hasn't really done anything this year.
I think Edelman's still hurt or something. He just hasn't been the same. But, I mean, he keeps getting better, it seems like, as the season goes along. But I actually prefer Doug Baldwin. I think he's really finding a rhythm now. He's that second-half guy. His success comes with Russell Wilson's success. So,
and, I'm talking specifically this matchup, Doug Baldwin against the Eagles at home or Edelman on the road against the 49ers.
Okay, that's true. I guess
eaten up by slot receivers.
I mean, with Gronk actually being out, I think a few more targets, believe it or not, go Edelman's way. So that actually helps his matchup a little bit better.
Yeah, the only thing I worry about with Edelman is if they get, if the Patriots get up real quick, that they're not gonna keep checking the ball. I think the Patriots just want to win big, though, so I could see him doing it. So, Alex, which one do you say?
I'm probably going to lean Edelman, just simply because I think that I don't know. I agree with you. You're missing a big linchpin in that offense, and so those targets and that yardage has to go somewhere. Mm-hmm. And I think that you can send it over to Martellus Bennett, but I think that when push comes to shove, who does he trust the most out of everybody that's on that team? Who's he played with the longest? I think it's Edelman.
Yeah. And it's, Doug Baldwin did score 3 touchdowns last week, but I think that this week it could be a big Edelman week. So my last question that I have for this slate of games with CJ Prosise being named the starter, would you rather start him or Latavius Murray on Monday night home against the Texans?
Houston's not amazing against the run.
I mean, but it is in Mexico.
Oh, it is in Mexico.
Oh, that's right. Did you hear that they are telling people not to leave their hotels? It's like, okay, why are you doing this game then? Why are you playing this game? Yeah, for crying out loud. if you're so scared of the cartel, why are you having games in hostile territory? Like, it's like having a game over in Iraq or something like that. Why would we do that?
This is actually pretty tough. This is because Eagles defense is all right. They're a lot better than the Houston Texans, that's for sure. Because they're on the bottom half of the league as far as
Eagles give up a lot to running backs, though.
But see, that's the thing, and I think how they utilize pro sites, I kind of lean towards that, as whereas Murray is just kind of one dimensional.
Yeah.
It is, but I actually think they're utilizing Murray a lot more in the rushing game and passing game even. So I think I lean Murray only because I think Rawls takes away quite a bit of work from Procise this week. I think they want to get Rawls involved. I think that he's going to get more carries than people think, but I lean Murray in that.
Okay, that's interesting. I probably lean Procise a little bit more because I think that they're going to be a little bit more hesitant with Rawls.
I think that Procise is a little bit of a sexier pick. I think that Murray is kind of boring.
There's nothing sexy about Murray, unfortunately.
No, there's not. And so, I think I lean Procise just because I'm more of the kind of guy that, like, I know what I'm going to get out of Murray. The floor is lower for Procise, but I think the ceiling is higher. So I might roll with that.
I think we saw CJ Prosise's best game last week.
Probably. Yeah,
best game of the season.
Calling it, put it on the board.
How about Latavius's game? Not last week, but the week before.
That was his best
game, yeah.
For sure.
All right. Well, that wraps up all my questions I have for you guys. But I do want to talk DK lineups a little bit. I also, since we started tracking our DK event that we've had between the four of us, I would like to point out that I won again last week.
It's 4 weeks in a row.
4 weeks in a row and 5 out of 7 weeks. So can you just tell me now that I'm the best?
No.
Just say it.
No, it's not gonna happen.
Well,
you're still eating the Todd Gurley cereal, and I'm not
all day.
That seriously, like, as soon as I see that, like, I get enraged, like a red flag to a bull. Like, I just want to jump through the screen and tackle you.
So how are you guys going to beat me this week then?
So,
like, who's your guy?
I just want to point out right now I'm in first place. So is everybody.
Yeah, we're tied at 0. Good.
Tied at 0.
Josh, give me somebody. Alex, you always talk first.
Okay. I actually did. So as much as I thought it was a trap game with the Steelers, I'm actually picking Big Ben, and I paired him with Eli Rogers. But I also threw Le'Veon Bell in there because I thought because he was my flex pick that I had money left over, and I thought it could be a pretty sexy pick there. But I did went with Procise because I thought he was cheap. And I also went with Sharknado because he was cheap as well. He's going against Tampa Bay, which their defense is nothing too fancy or anything.
See, this is why I win.
Yeah, why would you take West on that?
We love you.
He might.
No,
have
don't
a
tell him,
chance at a
Brent. Just let him
touchdown.
go.
I don't know.
Hey,
Brent.
I wish somebody would catch. I wish that calling him Sharknado would catch on, because we're the only ones that call him Sharknado.
That's not
now
true.
our listeners will.
What?
There's
Who else
other
calls
people
him
that call him Sharknado. I don't know. Some other podcast I listen to. Maybe it was this one.
I know that when I started calling him Sharknado, I think it was me and Brandon that were doing that. We were just making it up.
Who was producing that show? Who wrote that words on the sheet?
Look at that. Josh is taking the credit.
Wow.
I will
Hey,
take the credit.
you're the man.
I've
I
actually
love it.
I've got the proof.
Okay. I apologize.
Love it.
I apologize.
Brent, how's your team looking?
I did a stack also with Big Ben and Antonio Brown, but my favorite picks this week are Spencer Ware, the starter running back for Kansas City, not Sharknado, and DeMarco Murray. Sorry, I took your thunder there, Alex. I'm sure you took him as well.
Yep. Oh, man.
Who else you got, Alex?
I did a Tom Brady and Bennett stack. I just think that that's going to be a big thing. I mean, I love me some Jordan Howard. I love me some DeMarco Murray. I think one my kind of we talked about that you can pass all day on Green Bay, and I got Jamison Crowder in there. He's had a few pretty good games, and after throwing down the gauntlet to have Tom Brady and DeMarco Murray, I needed to start looking at some cheaper options, and so I think that Jamison Crowder at 5.4 is a really nice price. Also, really love the matchup for Moncrief. He seems to be very active since he's returned, and I think that all day it's going to be Giants wide receivers getting a lot of action, and so I've got Sterling Shepard.
I actually really like that lineup. I punted on wide receiver as well. Like I got Moncrief, I got Jamison Crowder, I'm starting Golden Tate.
Yeah,
I think that against Jacksonville, I like that matchup. And I'm also starting Marquise Lee on the opposite side of it because I think that Marquise Lee could be maybe the best Jacksonville wide receiver to come out of that game.
Yeah.
I love stacking. I'm stacking Luck with Moncrief, hoping that it just seems like that game just seems like it's going to be high scoring to me.
Yeah.
It's at home for Indy.
Coming off a bye.
I think that it could be a big game for Luck. As far as running back goes, I already told you guys, I think Le'Veon Bell is going to be the highest scoring running back this week on DK. I think that he is going to catch a ton of passes. I just think he could have 8 to 10 catches this week, and he could score 3 touchdowns.
Yeah,
he finally scored last week, so he's popped the cherry on that. So now he's just going to run them all in.
I thought I read that he was already up to 49 catches this year.
Yeah.
And he was suspended the first, 3 or 4 games?
3, yeah.
Ridiculously talented.
Yeah.
So
he's good.
I like the CJ Procise call, though. I think that was you, Van Cleve, right, that you talked about having that. So, but Delaney Walker, I think that's the best tight end play this week. Like I could see maybe like going to a Jordan Reed or something, but I got burnt with Lance Kendricks last week, and I'm not making that mistake again. I'm gonna pay up, and Delaney Walker against the Colts is a juicy matchup. So I will be glad to take your guys' $7.20 again though, and keep adding it to my.
No, I've got it. I've already got it taken care of. I told you, I'm already in first place.
Well, you're good at what you do.
Yeah.
And that's lose to me. So
nope.
Before I close out the show, we didn't go through our pick'ems. What I want to do is just ask you guys each individually to give me one game that is your lock pick of the week. And you can't choose the game that's currently going on, even though Drew Brees did finally throw a touchdown.
It's a lock.
Alex, who do you got?
I think it's a lock that the Patriots beat San Francisco. I think San Francisco is a garbage team. They can't get anything going. I think Kaepernick is probably going to get blasted. I don't see any way that the Patriots lose this game.
Love it. Brent, who you got?
I'm going with a little bit of risk. Maybe not. Who knows? I'm going with the Dolphins over the Rams. The Rams can't get much worse on offense. Or can they? I don't know. Rookie quarterback, number 1 overall pick, Jared Goff. He starts this week against a Miami team that's on a 4-game winning streak. And that was after losing 4 out of their first 5 games. So I think they're really turning the page there, and Miami's going to put it on that Rams offense.
I like it. Josh, what's your lock of the week?
I'm going Cowboys over Ravens. I just think with just the Cowboys are just rolling. Even though Ravens record shows that a little bit better but they really aren't.
Yeah.
I don't think they're that good of a team. I think they're still a mess. And, for having the best run defense, they're going up against some of the best offensive line. So I think they will struggle a little bit. And so I think I'm taking the Cowboys as a lock pick.
Man, for all of our hype on Pittsburgh, nobody took that.
Yeah.
Or is that you, Romine?
I think that the Browns are going to beat the Steelers. That is not
What?
I do. I know. I told Alex like we keep saying trap game, but I think that this is the week that it happens. I think that Le'Veon has a huge game, but I don't think that the Steelers are going to be able to stop the Browns. I
So
could.
Is that your
why do you
lock?
have, why
Lock
do you
it
have
in.
lock
Lock
it in?
No,
Because
I
you
already
got
got
the
mine.
Steelers.
Don't worry. I'll go with another one that you guys will disagree with, though, probably. My lock of the week's the Redskins over the Packers at home on Sunday Night
Wow.
Football. I think that Aaron
Love
Rodgers,
it.
they're going to continue losing. I think that the Redskins are not just going to beat them; they're going to beat them by 10+ points.
Wow.
I'm gonna.
Love it.
But that's all I got, guys. Great show. Appreciate everybody stepping out, listening. Follow us on Twitter, 4Horsemen Pod. Hit us up on email, 4horsemenpod@gmail.com. Have a great night. Go Breeze.